So let's move on to the archive case. This is what your inscription packs are going to come into. And your inscription packs are how you're going to expand upon your core set, of course. And we've designed it to be an adaptive TCG, which is, I think, I don't know if it's a breakthrough in the gaming industry, but it's definitely a shift as we combined the transparency and expectation and knowing what you're going to get of a regular expansion system or a LCG system like Fantasy Flight Games with the collectability and a little bit more the excitement of and potential aftermarket value of your collection of a TCG. And we did this by having 13 card inscription packs. And there's 12 cards that are random based off between 6 canon, 4 obscura, and 2 apocrypha. Sort of like the common, uncommon, rare. And then the 13th card is an Avakshar card. And this one is exchangeable for, at minimum, 1 canon card. But the value of those Avakshar cards alternate. And it could be worth an obscura, and it could be worth an apocryphal. But the important thing is that you'll be able to choose out of any card in the entire set. Not just of one expansion, not just one edition, but specifically that one card that you need. Or, if it's worth more Avakshar points, several cards, or you could probably get about 6 or 7 canon cards if you found one that was worth an apocryphal. So it's sort of like a bonus wild card that you get to choose, which will have varying levels of value, but at minimum will be exchangeable for the canon card that you're looking for. And canon cards are nice. We really focused a lot on this game and attempted to mitigate the power creep and an exploitative pay-to-win structure. And we did this through a couple ways. One, the core set's really powerful. All the cards in the core set are they're just really strong. They're very, very efficient. They do their job very, very well. And they do it fairly cheaply. And they're just good go-to cards. In the Obscura packs, or the Inscription packs, yes, there's going to be some cards that might inherently have more power, but they'll also be higher level, and you'll be limited by how many higher level spells you can have. Mostly what they'll do is you'll have an advantage by getting Inscription packs because you'll have greater flexibility. You can really tweak that codex and find cards that will improve upon or synergize with the core set cards. But we've designed the game so that everyone will be continuing to play with their core set cards even when they're going competitively. So that's one way that we did it. And then a secondary method for just mitigating that whole, you know what I'm talking about, this highly exploitative. In order, if you want to win, you got to spend $1,000 on MTG, or I don't know what the exact amount would be, but in a lot of TCGs, like, you're really sort of manipulated into having to buy inscription pack after inscription pack, vainly hoping for the cards that you need or the cards that you can use to trade for the cards that you need. And we just want to take a lot of that out. I mean, Serpent's Tongue always screamed to me TCG because the model of it is like an interesting parallel to what's happening in the world of Magi, as Magi fight and trade and politic and research and explore and study under masters in order to get these specific powerful inscriptions that they've heard legend about or that they've seen before, but now they want to master and have as part of their codex. Just seemed like a great parallel to a TCG where you have cards of varying value and varying power and varying usefulness in different situations, and you want to fight over and trade and collect and obtain this, valuable magical collection. If we just did this LCG style or expansion style, I just don't think we'd have a lot of that. But how do you do that without becoming a really exploitative TCG model? I think a lot of us are kind of starting to outgrow that. And the adaptive is how we're attempting to merge that. Also, with the adaptive TCG, you can earn Avakshar points not by having to spend money on inscription packs. You can get it from other forms of involvement, going down your personal augmented reality mystery path, as well as social interaction. And once we hopefully are able to organize formal tournaments and nights at your local game center, participation in events like that. So, where was I? Oh yes, the secondary method that we stopped that sort of mitigated that whole power creep type of system and the need to buy tons and have a huge collection just to be able to compete. And that was spell slots. The codex now, as it comes, only has enough containment field to hold 2 level 4 spells, 5 level 3 spells, and the rest can be level 1s and 2s. It will only hold 27 spells total, and you can swap out a level 4 for anything below. So you could have 2 extra level 3 spells instead of your 2 level 4 spells. But what this means is that, and cannon cards tend to be common. Cannon cards tend to be the lower level spells, and specializations, artifacts, and level 4 spells tend to be rare and the apocryphal spells. So if you have a massive collection, you're going to have a lot more access to a lot more specializations, artifacts, and these really high-powered level 4 spells. But you only get to use 2 at any given time. Well, you get to use 4. It's specialization, artifact, or rare. But in your codex, you'll only be able to have 2 at this time. Now, there are going to be artifacts that will change that, and there will be codex pages that will unlock or basically improve the quality of your codex to be able to hold higher, more powerful level spells. But that's an upgrade to your codex itself, and at a tournament ranking, in a tournament setting, that would put you into a higher bracket based off of how powerful your codex is, and the pages you've collected that will allow you to hold more powerful spells, and eventually the level 5s. Which let's just enjoy what we have here before we go down that crazy road. So back to the archive case. I was never focused on this. I don't know. I was just going to put it in a box, try to make it look cool. I was so focused on the core set and getting that core set how we wanted and where we needed to be with really awesome cards and components and, of course, the codex. So Yetta, our Finnish graphic designer, was totally responsible for giving this to you guys. It's extremely thick. It's probably the thickest TCG packaging box on the planet. And it doesn't have the thumb tab, but it will for final. And the whole thing slides out like a sturdy drawer. And it's going to store all of your extra cards and all of your extra core set cards, because there's room for an extra 100 in here. Room for about 460 cards. It will come with 360. Has double wrapped inside and out with art paper. It's even coated on the inside as well. And it was a little expensive, but I think it's worth it because these cards are all a work of art, and there's a lot of time put into it by a lot of artists and graphic designers, and they're big and they're beautiful and they're rich and thick, and I just love them, and they deserve whatever we can give them. Now, you'll have the compendium. Many of you ordered a compendium as well, and that's a good way to showcase your cards, or for it to be sort of a sideboard codex that you can change out your codex between matches. But this will be a great way for you to store your sort of deep storage collection in your deep collection. Anyway, that's the archive case. It turned out beautiful. So solidly constructed. Anyway, so those of you who are getting like 15 of these, I know there's some of you out there, like you Sacred Fonts over there in England, Hunter Kane, there's several of you. Awakened Dragon from Japan, I don't know how many of these he's got coming, at least 20, so enjoy that. Whew, close there.